Esci1. This is Shalana Collins. I'm going to be talking to you today about the impact of pesticides on groundwater. So first off, what is a pesticide? Typically nobody cares, nobody knows, but let me just fill you in real quick. So a pesticide is simply a synthetic chemical or any type of synthetic substance that is used to eliminate insects or any other organisms that can be harmful to agriculture or to animals. Now, the U.S. actually uses a lot of pesticides on our produce. That's why whenever you go to like Safeway or something, you see the organic side, but you also see just regular vegetables that don't have any labels at all, really. So the question is are pesticides safe? I'll go over that. But first, I'm going to go over a few milestones with you. So I'm going to highlight some news about pesticides, the most recent stuff, of course. Why should you care? Is pesticides safe? The harmful effects that it can have on you. So in 2006, our administrator at the time of the EPA, Stephen L. Johnson, released a statement saying that he has done 10 years of, or not him, but scientists have done 10 years of pesticide review saying that pesticides are safe. Now, we all know that 10 years is not long enough. It actually takes about 50 years for pesticides to reach down into our aquifers. So I don't know about you, but 10 years is not long enough for me. Now, let me ask you guys all a question. How many different pesticides do you think the average American has in their body? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Okay, we're taking too long. But the average American has 29. You probably have them in your body right now. If you don't, you probably only eat naturally organic produce 100% of the time. But say for average people like you and I, we go out to eat to these restaurants, maybe eat fast food here and there. These big companies aren't using naturally organic products. They're using these products that have pesticides on them, so you and I are simply just consuming them. How do pesticides get in groundwater? Now, what happens is, I call it the deadly cycle, but pesticides are sprayed here on the crops. Precipitation happens, so from the rain, storms, whatever, it gets into the soil. From there, after a year, reaches here, this type level, 10 years, 50 years, down to the groundwater flow, and from there, right back up into our drinking well water. It's a vicious cycle. That's why I call it the deadly cycle. Now, back when pesticides were first being used, a pesticide that was commonly used was something called DDT. DDT was mainly used for mosquitoes. Marketing advertised it okay to use around your kids, safe in the house, kills all insects, you'll be just fine. No. In 1972, the EPA actually banned DDT in America due to the human health impacts causing cancers and birth defects. So all those people that was using DDT, unfortunately, a lot of them probably now have cancer. So a few milestones in the news with pesticides recently is, I'm just going to highlight here in 2016, early January, our former president, Barack Obama, came up with a plan called the Climate Change Plan. He really wanted to make our earth and our world a better place by totally just preventing the CO2 into the air, or these big companies really just releasing all these bad chemicals into the air. But what ends up happening is the Supreme Court temporarily blocks his, proposals that he wanted to do for our earth. So, Barack Obama is out of office. All of a sudden we get Trump. Trump actually cut the cost of the EPA. EPA in November 2016 lets America know that there is a pesticide called sorry, I really can't pronounce this word that good, but it's a new pesticide, and the consumption of this has health risk. So after they actually told us in November 2016 that it has health risk, they still denied the whole ban of even using that particular pesticide. Makes no sense. So how are you going to sit up here and tell us it's bad for us, it can cause health risks, but you're not banning it from America? Makes no sense. And then here we are in May, June. Obviously, Trump's budget cuts are really just taking, a hard toll on the EPA, starting to show the effects. On this next slide, we have here really what it looks like when you are affected by things like, the Zika virus, affected by pesticides in the water, fish dying, species dying, affected by pesticides going into the water and causing our oceans, our streams, our rivers to look disgusting, or even just the use that a farmer has of pesticides. When they spray it, if they're not properly covering themselves, they affect skin conditions that look something similar to this. Pesticides are 95% accumulated in the groundwater in agricultural communities. So that number alone, 95%, what do you think is doomed to happen for those people that live in those communities? These are people that have mothers, fathers, children. Also, you have to think about what happens when you accumulate more than one pesticide at a time. So what are people saying? So what are people saying about pesticides, really? 43% of people believe that it is more important to buy local than organic. So that means obviously the organic probably really isn't even organic. 37% of people are concerned that pesticides are getting into the water supply. Now, after I did my research on this project, this number should actually be a lot higher than just 37%. 47% of people believe that peeling something like an orange can reduce the amount of pesticides on that actual fruit or vegetable. I don't believe that's true either, because pesticides can actually seep past the skin, past just the outer layer, and actually go into fruits and vegetables. Here I have, his name is Josh Kearns. He is the director of a nonprofit called Aqueous Solutions. He really has passion in his voice when he speaks, and so I really just thought this clip alone could show you guys how serious this actually is.
One of the main ways that we're exposed to these chemicals is through our drinking water. And this is as true in developed countries such as the United States as it is in developing countries like Thailand. None of us are shielded from being exposed to these chemicals, and none of us are immune to their toxic effects.
There you go, from the man himself. So obviously not enough evidence has been observed by scientists to really know what can happen to our groundwater when pesticides is in it. So far from the research that I found, all I found is negative, nothing really positive. Awareness is really the key. We have to let people know that pesticides are not good to use on our crops and our agriculture. If you would like to make a change, if you would like to make a difference yourself, you can. there's an upcoming meeting. The meeting is unfortunately not in California, a completely other state, but the upcoming meeting is on the environmental modeling and groundwater. So if you would like to be a part of it, maybe it's something that they can, post on the EPA.gov website. This is where I've actually received this information, but you can contact these people here. They can maybe let you know a way that you can make a difference, because each voice really matters.